All right, I see people are joining now. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
We'll just give everyone a few minutes to join. Okay, we can kick it off. I hope everything is working okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. I'm here with Maeve. My name is Iulian. I'm the tech and analytics lead here in Wolfgang. I've been working in Wolfgang for 6 years and in digital marketing for over 10. And before that, I used to be a web developer, so I have quite a lot of experience with both how websites works and also how to do really good digital marketing for them. And I'm here with Maeve.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name's Maeve and I work in Google. I've been working with Irish agencies on the Google agency team for the last 5 years, making sure that our partners like Wolfgang have access to all of the latest and greatest insights and tools and best practices for our products.
Cool. So this is us. So this is Wolfgang. We're a team of over 70 digital marketing specialists. We have quite a few departments. We have the SEO team, we have the PPC, the analytics team, also the social media, and a bit of CRO. So we definitely have everything you would need to bring your business online, to grow it, and all of those things. It will be hard to include all of our clients in one slide, but we'd like to thank all the clients for partnering with us and for their trust in letting us innovate and try to deliver exceptional results for them. I'd like to say hi to all of the clients that joined for this webinar, and we hope that you'll enjoy it, and you'll also have questions for our Q&A and also for the catch-ups. And here we have the awards we received so far this year. It would be really hard to include all of them from the previous years, but the one award I'm most proud of is the best global large PPC agency, which we just won last month. Now, I don't like to brag about awards, but if you want to get more information on that, you can check out our work, some case studies and other awards on our website on wolfgangdigital.com. And also, Google appreciates our work. We are great partners, and it's great to see our work published on the Google websites in their case studies, and also for awarding us the Workplace Excellence at the Premier Partner Awards. And now I'm going to pass it to Maeve, who's going to walk you through the latest updates from Google regarding the privacy landscape and why GA4 is the best marketing analytics tool for your campaigns.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Iulian. And yes, we are definitely very proud of Wolfgang's work. So I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you about privacy, which is such an important topic for us at Google. It's really brilliant to take the opportunity and the time with Wolfgang to help businesses adapt to shifts in the industry towards an increasing focus on privacy to really ensure that our digital marketing strategies are all set up to drive the best performance possible. So let's start with a quick overview of what changes have happened to bring about this shift. So rising expectations for user privacy are driving new regulations and browser changes that limit the way user data is generated, shared, and measured. So at the same time as this, there have been a couple of missteps across the ecosystem that have reduced consumer trust. For example, the Cambridge Analytica data breach a few years ago. And because of this, 64% of consumers say they mistrust companies to protect their personal data and privacy online. And 57% of consumers believe companies are selling their data. So it definitely is a topic that has a lot of focus and concern from our users. And to address this, regulations that place restrictions on how data can be collected or sold are being implemented across the globe. So you're all fully aware of, the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR in EU, and then there are other acts such as the California Consumer Privacy Act in the US. So it's definitely a global area of concern. And these regulations include topics like user transparency, data storage and transfers, and personalized ad restrictions. And as well as all of this, browsers and mobile operating systems are restricting the use of third-party cookies and mobile identifiers. So the industry is shifting away from using mechanisms that track users across sites and apps. So all of this change means that we as marketers also have to change and prepare for a privacy-safe future that we predict will be centered around 3 main characteristics. Firstly, we predict that everything will be dependent on consent in how data is collected and used. Secondly, we see first-party data being more important than ever to increase effectiveness in audience engagement and return on ad spend. And lastly, the use of data modeling and predictive analytics will be increasingly used as an effective tool to fill in the gaps from cookie loss and measurement restrictions whilst respecting user privacy. So with all of these developments, there comes a need for us in Google to adapt how we track and measure performance. Consumer behavior has changed significantly since the creation of universal analytics, with an increase in the amount of channels, devices, and touch points that we all use every day. But we also need to respect the privacy regulations and changes that we just spoke about, and the corresponding business need to use more modeled and AI-based measurement options. So this all meant that the old version of analytics needed to be sunset in July of this year and replaced with our newest privacy build version, GA4. GA4 is just one part of the Google Ads suite of privacy-safe measurement solutions for a future-focused digital strategy. So I mentioned it's a huge area of focus for us at Google, and you'll definitely hear a lot about different types of products and solutions as we continue to adapt to this new industry. So when people interact directly with your business, either by visiting your website or using your app or making a phone call or even purchasing from one of your stores, it provides an opportunity to learn more about who they are, what they care about, and how you can meet their needs. To make the most of this valuable information, it's important that you have the solutions in place and permission where required to generate and use insightful and actionable first-party data where those interactions take place. So Google's suite of privacy-centric measurement solutions includes site-wide tagging, enhanced conversions for web, consent mode, GA4, and customer match. And these all work together to gather and use data and insights about your customers to help you continue to grow your business with Google Ads, all while knowing that you're taking a privacy-first approach. And the solutions help to gather more accurate observed as well as modeled conversions to allow for improved measurement and attribution. Improved measurement, first-party data, and audience solutions like customer match fuel your AI-powered campaign and optimization, which again leads to more accurate measurement and attribution. In the long term, the improvement of measurement accuracy and better performing campaigns leads to revenue growth for your business, which is what we're all about. So let's take a little deeper look at how Google Analytics 4 is designed to keep up with this changing digital ecosystem. So unlike Universal Analytics, which was anchored in the desktop, independent sessions and relied more on observable data from cookies, GA4 operates across multiple platforms, does not rely exclusively on cookies, and uses an event-based data model to deliver user-centric measurement. So there are a few things to keep in mind as you start to shift your reporting from UA to GA4. Reporting on page views, purchases will remain quite similar across UA and GA4, but unlike Universal Analytics, which reports on total and new users, GA4 has a third metric for users called active users. This is used as the primary user metric in GA4 and refers to the number of distinct users who visited your website or application. Then when it comes to monitoring sessions conversions, there may be differences in reporting across Universal Analytics and GA4, depending on your business nuances and conversion setup to be aware of. And then event count represents a fundamental data model difference between Universal Analytics and GA4, where no notions of category, action, or label exist with GA4. With GA4, all actions will be considered an event. And then finally, GA4 is both app and website-based, and Universal Analytics is only website. So there's a few things to keep in mind. But GA4 really helps you discover insights from your first-party data to inform your marketing strategy when you connect it with your Google Ads account. So our latest analytics platform uses conversion modeling to identify and report on customer insights from the first-party data collected on your website and apps. And this helps inform optimization decisions for AI solutions, such as smart bidding and your overall marketing strategy. Some of the ways in which GA4 is the modern measurement solution designed to keep up with this changing digital ecosystem are that Google Analytics will provide customer insights with or without cookies. So GA4 uses conversion modeling to fill gaps in your understanding of the cross-channel customer journey when the use of cookies and other identifiers are limited, which is increasingly the case when it comes to these browser restrictions. This solution also uses an events-based measurement model to deliver a complete view of the customer lifecycle across the website and app. And GA4 has machine learning capabilities that leverage your first-party data to create new audiences of users who are likely to purchase or churn and automatically surface critical insights to improve your marketing. And if you're using Universal Analytics and don't migrate over to GA4, there are a few key areas that you won't be able to benefit from. For example, you won't be able to extend the reach of your first-party data to similar audiences to your best customers, which will limit your ability to maximize your return on investment. GA4 also offers different privacy settings that give you flexibility when you're trying to meet user privacy requirements and regulations. These include control over user data collection, retention, and removal, and whether user data is collected for ads personalization in our integrated platforms. For example, with data collection, GA4 no longer stores or logs IP addresses, and data sharing settings let your customers share with Google the data that you collect. For data usage, you can choose whether data for your entire analytics property or a subset is applied to your ads personalization. And finally, for data removal, you can remove data from analytics for any reason and at any time. So data can be deleted from analytics servers or for individual users. And GA4 provides you the ability to measure and understand your user journey despite measurement gaps due to cookie loss, like we spoke about. So a really exciting new feature within GA4 is on the data collection front. So we've introduced an event-based data collection model to enable more customization on your data collection, as well as a cross-platform user view. So this provides a better representation of how your users interact with your websites and apps and enables you better visibility on your user journeys across devices. But data collection doesn't stop there, and we know that there are other areas where you're collecting data, for example, through offline systems like a CRM platform. And we continue to provide you best-in-class capabilities so you can onboard your Google Media performance within GA to better inform your media strategies. As some users do not consent to their data to be collected on their website, it provides you with a non-comprehensive view of your user, which can be really tricky. So with GA4, we innovated to provide you a privacy-centric and cookieless measurement solution so you can enrich your first-party data with respect to with modeling capabilities, behavioral and conversion modeling to fill in measurement gaps while respecting users' consent, which will lead to a more comprehensive view of your user through modeling. So you can incorporate the right marketing tactics based on your user's behavior. Now let's look into the insight generation component of GA4. So within GA4, you can now predict customer needs and anticipate growth opportunities through our machine learning, providing you with endless opportunities. So you can surface insights on your data based on specific changes, analyze user behavior over their lifetime, or even detect anomalies within your data. For example, let's say that your marketing team is running a really important campaign to promote your loyalty program. However, you're not seeing any loyalty program signups, and through insights, GA surfaces the insight on a dramatic drop in traffic in your website. So through this insight, your marketing and analytics team is able to further investigate what could be leading to this issue and very quickly come up with a solution to fix it on your website. Or if you are an e-commerce site, you probably monitor your revenue by navigating to the e-commerce purchases report. But after you do this a few times, you'll find the information about revenue right there as part of the analytics home. So it will adapt to what you're after and the type of insights that are important to you. And even better, predict the probability that your customers will likely make a purchase within a certain amount of days, or predict the probability that your user will likely churn. And all of these predictive analytics capabilities not only allow you to unlock extremely valuable insights, but you can also leverage this to build predictive audiences so you can utilize these within Google Media platforms. So everything just works better. Throughout these exciting new machine learning capabilities within GA4, you can surface powerful insights to business questions that you haven't even asked yourself yet, and let Google Analytics learn from your data so that you can quickly adapt your strategies based on what's working well or not, so you don't have to wait until the end of a day or the following day to make changes. You can proactively plan and optimize your marketing strategies, and you can provide the right experience to your customers at the right time based on their needs. So you can continue having a really positive dynamic relationship with them and what they value. Now, we know it's never ideal to have to spend really valuable time. We're all super busy migrating to a new platform like GA4 and to learn an adjusted reporting structure. So I'm sure that's what you're all busy doing at the moment. So it's brilliant that you have access to a partner like Wolfgang Digital, who are experts in the migration process to help your businesses do this, because the benefits of GA4 over Universal Analytics far outweigh the effort of actually making that migration happen. And I hope you've seen this so far. So just to recap, GA4 is built for the changing ecosystem. It's a responsible, durable measurement that will help you drive business outcomes for the long term, regardless of how the landscape continues to shift, because it will continue to shift. It's a highly scalable for your evolving business needs. So measuring all the interactions that people have with your business online gives you a complete, relevant, and timely understanding of the customer journey. It incorporates more flexibility in your data collection and provides a more holistic view of your user by leveraging a new data collection model for web to enable more customization and connect cross-platform data. It provides powerful insights, leveraging Google's machine learning capabilities, and it has a seamless integration to take action on your data and drive business impact. So you can activate your data and insights more effectively to drive measurable marketing outcomes and access new integrations. So now I'll hand you over to Iulian, who's going to give his expert tips in a successful migration and how to use GA4 to its highest potential.
Thank you very much, Maeve. All right, so welcome to GA4. We have here a really interesting image, and as you can see, it's just a picture of an airplane cockpit. So if we were to actually compare how you can start from tracking website interactions, so it might be some page views, some users, some sessions. So that's very basic at as what you need on a website. GA4 is for sure the most complex system so far, and certainly it's not the easiest to use. It requires a good understanding of events, of parameters, on how to align your business data and how to extract that data. And it also requires you to pilot basically those connections between GA4 and other systems such as Google Ads, BigQuery, and other marketing platforms. But when it's set in the right way, all that machine learning from Google will help your business grow. So I hope everyone had their coffee, because this is going to be very intensive here. But no worries if you don't get it from the first time. We will share this recording after the webinar, and then you can have a look and try to do all of those things. So on our agenda, we have 5 must-knows, but before those 5 must-knows, we have a few others. So as Maeve mentioned, you can track your website and your apps under the same platform. And this is really cool, because if you are, say, for example, an e-commerce that has one website, then an iPhone app and an Android app, you can basically track both of them, both apps and the website under one platform, and you can unify your customer ID across all of them. So then you will be able to see individual users, how they perform across multiple devices and platforms. You can ask it, we can say some natural questions. So for example, you can ask it, how much revenue did we get in the Q1 of 2023 from organic? And it will actually know what organic is, it will know what Q1 is, and also what revenue is, and it will give you that exact number there. It doesn't work all the time as good, but because you will need to understand exactly what those dimensions are called. But after you have that, it will be much easier to use. Also, GA4, it tracks a lot more things by default. In UA, you would only track, say, for example, page views and maybe some site search, while now in GA4, it also tracks your form interactions, your video engagements, your file downloads. All of those are automatically collected events, and then you can use those in reports without setting up other additional events. Now, something really important here, and this is a question we get from clients. Whenever you look at the data for today or the data for yesterday, it appears to be empty. And why is that? Where is my data? GA4 takes between 24 and 48 hours to process that data, which means if you want to see the data for Monday, you will have to check GA4 on Wednesday for that day. It's not ideal, but it does need all of that time to process the data, and also do all of those things around machine learning and data-driven attribution in order to share the correct channels. Now, also another important question: where is my demographic data? Why cannot I see like the gender, the interest, and all of those? And for those ones, you will actually need to activate Google Signals. You need to go to settings and activate Google Signals, and that will give you that data. All right. So we'll go now at 5 really important must-knows. And those are user versus session acquisition, assigning user ID, importing offline data, attribution model, and the data retention period. So in GA4, compared to UA, you now get two acquisition reports. You will get your traffic acquisition, which shows you where new sessions came from, regardless of whether that user is returning or new. And you also get the user acquisition, which shows you how new user find your website or your app. The old way, it kind of undervalued some channels because that session based, it didn't show you any conversions. But now with the user acquisition, you can see a truer picture. Something really important as well in GA4 is to assign the user ID from your CRM, from your e-commerce platform, where you will assign that user ID to each page view, basically to each GA4 integration. And then you can actually see in this user explorer report how that data looks like. What are those users doing? Are they coming back to the website? How much revenue they generated? And also what's cool, even if they go on a mobile device after, or they return on the website a few months later, GA4 will know where they initially came from. So that's really cool. Now, another cool thing here is that you can import data in GA4, and you can import cost data, you can import item data, user data by user ID and client ID, and also offline event data. So we'll have here a look at how to do this in practice. So when you go in the admin panel and you go to data import, you can create this data source and say, for example, here I want to import the cost data. And this is a very simple formatted spreadsheet, and it can be done in Excel. You just save it as a CSV. And here, for example, I'm importing a few campaigns from Bing and Facebook. And as you know, like Bing and Facebook, they cannot be connected to Google Analytics regarding costs and impressions and all of those. So I'm just creating my spreadsheet there. And then all you have to do is to map those fields to the fields in analytics, and then that data will be imported into GA4. As you can imagine, you can do this for users. You can import all the users from your offline systems, and then whenever they will access your website, you will be able to see all of those insights about individual users. Now, regarding the attribution model, there are a few of them. In Universal Analytics, the default one was last click, while now in GA4, the default one is data-driven. To make you understand like what data-driven is, I like to use this analogy, which is actually from Google. Imagine you have a team of 11 football players. It's not just the last player that shoots and scores the goal, the one that will get the entire credit. It's actually the entire team. So that's what data-driven is. Some channels might get a higher attribution than others, but all of them will get some sort of an attribution. Something really cool though is that you do have this model comparison in GA4, which allows you to actually compare different channels and see how they perform first click versus last click, or first click versus data driven. And as you can see there, the impact on first click and last click can be very big on some channels. For example, there in paid search, if you look at first click, paid search delivered 110,000, but if you look at last click, it delivered 147. So this is really cool to compare those two reports. All right, the data retention period. In Universal Analytics, you could basically have almost unlimited data storage regarding your events. In GA4 now, you have just two options, 2 months and 14 months. Or if you use GA4 360, that can be also increased to 60 months. But what this means is that all of that individual event data will be stored in your GA4 account just for 14 months. And what happens after that is that we have here a client that set up a GA4 over 2 years ago when it came out. But if I'm looking now at the data from last month, from June compared to June to 2021, so 2 years ago, we will see that we still have the users, but we no longer have the sessions, the engaged sessions. You no longer have all of that individual event data. So that's why you kind of will need now to use BigQuery in case you will need to use all of that raw data and you need to use a lot of reports to look back in time. So in BigQuery, again, going to the admin setting, to the admin settings, you can go to BigQuery links. You can link your BigQuery to your GA4 account to BigQuery. And after that, by running some SQL scripts, basically you can get all of those information in a raw format, so you will have them forever, basically. All right, so now let's dive into the GA4 reporting. So we've put together 5 or 6 really important reports that you can use in GA4 to uncover a lot of insights. The first one is comparisons and filters. Both of these options are available on top of each report there, and you can use them individually. For example, the filters, you can apply up to 5 conditions in there, and say, for example, there I've selected the device category desktop and then the city Dublin, Galway, and Cork, and it will filter all the data in GA4 only for those cities and just for desktop. Now with the comparisons, what I can do there is I can create 2 of those filters, and then I can compare both of them one against each other to see how they perform for different reports. The second one, customizable reports. And this one, I do realize it would have been easier to actually have a live look at it and organize the interface in there, but it was easier to organize everything in slides. So then, let's say here we have this report, which is for a lead gen website, where we are not using the total revenue. So why would we need it there? We don't actually need the revenue since we don't have any revenue being a lead generation website. So what we can do there at the top of the screen, we can click that edit button. And then we have access to all the metrics and all the dimensions that are within that report. So as you can see, we have there the total revenue. So we can, for example, we can exclude that column, or we can look at dimensions. And in case we don't like the session default channel group, we can switch this. We can switch that one to session source medium, or we can use the session campaign. And for example, in this report here we have for the Wolfgang website, what we've done here, we've used the session campaign. We've also applied the filter for all of the campaigns that contain WGS, and a number of different metrics there that we think are important for the social campaigns. So that's really cool. But now what can I do with this one? I can actually save it as a custom report. So we go there at the save button. We name it WGS sessions campaign, and now it will be saved in our GA4 account. Another really cool thing is we can enhance reports with custom parameters. Now I'm going to go a bit technical, but don't be afraid. Hopefully everyone will get it. GA4 is in a way more developer friendly. So now this means we can use events in JavaScript or also through Google Tag Manager, and we can send there any interaction we want with as many details as we want. So for example, there I have the phone click event, where with each phone click, I'm also sending the phone number. I'm also sending the page category that user is on, and I'm also sending the travel destination and the travel period. And all of those can be sent either through JavaScript or through Google Tag Manager. Now, in this example here, they are static values, but in a real application, you will have some variables in there. So those will change depending on the user. And what's really cool there, after you've sent those ones, you can go in GA4 at the events and see how many you got in the last 30 minutes. And then you can declare those event parameters as custom dimensions. So you'll go into admin settings, then custom dimensions, and then you will name that dimension name phone number. And the scope is event because it's tied to an event. And now there we have it. We have it in our reports and also in our custom reports that we'll see later in explorations and so on. What are the top clicked phone numbers on our website? So as you can imagine here, you can extend this procedure, this way of tracking things on a website on a lot of things. Now we also want to customize our interface. So if you remember, we created that WGS report, and to do that, we'll have to go to library, and then as you can see, our report is there at the bottom of the page. So now we will drag and drop that one under traffic acquisition, and we will save this interface, save this collection. And then there you have it. We have it under our traffic acquisition. Now we will always have that WGS session campaigns ready for us just with one click without having to go through traffic acquisition, select a session campaign, type something, and you can basically create as many events as you want, and you can also rearrange the interface as much as you want to suit your needs. Now, this is another question we get frequently, the default channel grouping. So you will notice in GA4, the default interface will show you the session default channel group. And then you will also notice that some channels in there are not what we were used to in Universal Analytics. So for example, now we have cross network, which is actually coming from Performance Max from PPC. We also have organic social. We also have paid shopping, organic shopping, paid video, and so on. So all of these, they are predefined by Google according to what they think it's important to have in GA4. But something that was added a few months ago is customized channel groups. So for example, here you can go to these channel groups, and then I can define a new channel group. And then, for example, I can have this channel called PPC campaigns, where the source is Google or Bing, and the medium is CPC. So just as simple, I can define all of my custom channels. Now, also Maeve touched on this. So predictive audiences. This is a really powerful thing from GA4. If you have an e-commerce website and you get a lot of data, you will be able to access these audiences. So it will give you access to likely 7-day purchasers or churning users, likely first-time 7-day purchasers, and you can use all of this in your Google Ads campaigns and also to see them in GA4. But what we like to do is go one step further. We can actually use this purchase probability, which is this machine learning feature, and use that one with other events. So for example, we could say, for example, I want people that have added something to the cart and have a high purchase probability to be collected in a new audience. So then I can use that in Google Ads campaigns. And for example, what's really cool is that all of the audiences you create in GA4, they will automatically be imported into Google Ads after the accounts have been linked, and you will no longer have to manually select the destination for your audiences to go to Google Ads. Like, they will automatically be sent there, and they will automatically update. Now, a really cool one now, because in GA4, we saw that the interface is very customizable. We saw that you can create your own reports, but maybe that's not enough. Now we also have this thing called explorations. So they are a collection of advanced techniques that go beyond the standard reports, because the standard reports still have to have they still have to have this interface where you have your metrics, your campaigns, and so on. So you might want to have something even more customized. And with explorations, you can easily configure them and switch between different techniques. You can focus on the most relevant data. You can create segments and audiences, overlap those on explorations, and you can also export the explorations data to Excel or something else, or to another tool. So an empty exploration looks like this, where by default you have a table, but you can change that to a chart, you can change that to a map, you can change it to a few other options. And now we just want to share with you three really useful reports in exploration reports in GA4. So the use case number one, the website search report. As you saw in that slide where GA4, it collects a lot of events by default. It can also collect how many website searches you have and what people are searching for. And in explorations, we can actually drag that dimension, the search term, and then the number of users, and we can create this simple report to see what's the top searched things on the website. The second one, you can look at individual transaction IDs. As you can see now, in the left-hand side, we have the transaction ID and the total revenue, and all of those can be pulled in the report. What's really important here, you will always need to drag your dimensions that you want to look at and the metrics that you want to look at, and then it won't always be just a table, but these are really important ones to use. And then the use case number three, your top selling products. Again, these were available in Universal Analytics, but with GA4, you can go way more in depth with these reports. Now, these were just three examples. Now, in GA4, you have a lot of exploration models and a lot of predefined templates that you can use. And here is just a screenshot with all of those models. Now, a really important thing is how to enable your PPC and your SEO reports, how you can see your PPC campaigns in GA4, because this one is not available by default. So we'll start with the SEO ones firstly. So the first thing is to go to the admin panel and link your Search Console account with your GA4. Once you have done that, you need to go to library. If you remember, it was in the lower left side of the panel, and publish the Search Console collection, which has two reports in it. Basically, it has the queries report and also the landing page report. So then you can see all of your organic data shown in GA4. Now for PPC, it's a bit similar. You will need to connect your GA4 to your Google Ads account, and then there is no predefined one, or at least from what I've seen, there might be in some accounts, and for sure it will be available in the future. But for now, you can go to the acquisition overview and then look for the Google Ads widget, and then you can click there on view Google Ads campaigns, which will bring you to this page that has all of the campaigns from Google Ads, the users, the sessions, your cost per conversion, and so on. And once you get there, you have to follow the same steps as the customize your interface, where you customize it, you save it as a new report, and then you go to library and add it to an existing collection, and that's how you will get it into GA4. So these are all the things we wanted to share with you in this webinar, because they are some really important things that a lot of clients and also people in Wolfgang have been asking. Now we will have a 5-minute Q&A session. So let me just open the questions in here. I see we do have a few in here. Okay, we have here a question. There is a big share of unassigned traffic that is observed across the accounts on GA4 in comparison to UA. What could be the reason and how can that be fixed? So one important thing in GA4 is that, as we mentioned, due to that data processing, if you look at the report today and the data is for yesterday, you will notice that a lot of data is unassigned traffic because Google is still processing all of that data, those channels. It's basically getting all of that raw data and arranging it into different channels and trying to figure out what channel is the best to assign there. That's the answer when you're looking at very recent data. If you look at the same data maybe a week from now, you will see that now it's actually showing the correct channels. Something we have seen though is that if there's any issue with your tagging setup, so either you have two Google Analytics tags in there, so two Google Analytics 4 tags on your website. GA4 is really good at deduplicating something in there, but a lot of times you will have this unassigned channel because it can simply not see exactly what's happening there. So the tagging setup might be also an issue for seeing a lot of unassigned traffic, or also your website doesn't accept any cookies. So let's say you have a really strict cookie setup. That also will prevent GA4 from identifying channels unless you have activated consent mode or something like that. So I hope that answers the question, but in reality it's more of a technical thing if you're still seeing that. Okay, we have here another question. We have had the major issue with revenue recording discrepancies on GA4. Is this an issue on all Shopify websites? Now that's a more complicated question. If your setup is done through Shopify, which was launched only about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, you shouldn't see any revenue discrepancy between Shopify and GA4, again in the limits of cookie consent, in the limits of people not blocking external scripts and so on. But if you've had GA4 on a Shopify website through Google Tag Manager or through custom implementation, what can happen there is that if you're not assigning the correct parameters for each event. So for example, the purchase is still a parameter, is still an event which must have a lot of parameters under it. So it must have the transaction ID, the transaction revenue, the items that are in that order, and so on, the currency. If the revenue in there as a parameter is not set correctly, then of course you will see an issue between Shopify and your website. Okay, let's go to the next one. With GA4 covering both website and apps, does it mean it can replace an NMP? If so, will this work for both iOS and Android? Yeah, so GA4 can work with, I'm not sure exactly what NMP you're referring to, but GA4, it can be used in parallel as a tracking system for your apps and your website. You will need to look into exactly how you can match those users' ID across your website and your mobile apps, and also deep linking and all of those questions. So it is a more technical question. I used to use the Google Analytics connector in Power BI when using Universal. Can GA4 be connected to Power BI in the same way? Again, I wouldn't want to go too much in depth into technical questions. You can connect GA4 to BigQuery to have all of your data, and then with Power BI you can connect to BigQuery, because BigQuery it's basically just an SQL database which you can use a lot of tools to extract data from. the Explorer feature looks very similar to Data Studio, Looker Studio. To me, is there any benefit to still using Google Data Studio, or does it do the same things? What's really cool about explorations is that you can arrange way more data in there, and you can extract way more data. With Data Studio, it's just a visualization tool. With explorations, you can export that data. Of course, you can also do it in Data Studio, but you will get a lot more freedom with the explorations in GA4. So now it will be a case by case on how to use all of those. Okay. How do I pass the user ID from my platform to GA4? So the user ID, you must have it stored somewhere on your website. So if you are on e-commerce, whenever a user logs into their account, for sure you must have a user ID, a customer ID stored somewhere in that e-commerce. You can send a login event with the user ID attached to it, or something like that, or when a user makes a purchase with the revenue and all of those, you can also assign the user ID. If you have a CRM or something and you are a lead gen business, you will need to find another way to extract all of that. How long will UA data remain available? Don't quote me on this. I believe it might be 12 months from the 1st of July 2023. So you will have 1 year to still see the UA data in Universal Analytics. Now, if you're on UA 360, you will still have the platform open and collecting data for, I believe, until the end of this year. So then you will have 1 year after that. Okay, we still have 9 questions. I'll try just to select a few more. GA4 won't show up events until they hit a certain threshold. Telephone and email clicks are not showing for some clients until they hit a certain number. Yes, so that's true. A lot of times, if you look in GA4, and it's not just for custom events, it's also for some pages. So if you will look, let's say, at a page report, and you know for sure that you are getting page views on let's say 100 pages, but in GA4 you only see 20 pages. So what happens there is that GA4 applies this threshold. So each page view or each event needs to hit a certain amount of views, of hits, basically, in order to include it in the reports. What you can do, though, if those events are important, so they are, you can mark them as conversions. And what we've seen for conversions, they will actually show them even when they're like 1 or 2 or 3 events. Okay, we'll take one more. So we work with clients in mainland Europe, and some countries are banning Google Analytics. Is GA4 privacy and data sharing with US compliant with European laws? Yeah, we are aware of those situations with some countries trying to ban some Google products, trying to ban what's some tracking solutions. GA4 is still developing in a way. It was built to be used also without cookies. So a lot of those cookie compliance issues are solved by that. So GA4 it can work without cookies. Now with the data storage, GA4 is way safer than Universal Analytics, namely because it doesn't collect any IP addresses, it doesn't store them. It's just processing them, and after they are deleted. It will be really hard to say, but for sure, I do think Google will innovate and will have their products up to the standards with all of the regulations in Europe, and also CCP and all of those. Okay, now also if you want to work with Wolfgang, so if you want to work with us, and it's not just available for existing clients, we can organize for for you a bespoke GA4 training, or we also have this option of an analytics retainer, which it doesn't include just analytics. For the training one, this is a customized training for your company using your data, so you wouldn't be seeing just some examples or just some dummy data. It's actually used with it's using your data to get all of those insights, and it has two sessions of 2 hours each, and it will have everything you need to know, from setting up your GA4 to reporting and various integrations. And then also for the analytics retainer, even though it's named analytics retainer, it has way more than that. So it includes a GA4 audit and optimization. It includes Google Tag Manager management and server-side tagging, custom reports and dashboards, integrations with Google Ads, with Meta, with BigQuery, automation platforms, and you also get first-line support and troubleshooting for all of your analytics needs. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this this webinar. If you have any questions, we are here for you. If you're one of our clients, thank you very much for joining, and we'll be in touch in our monthly or weekly catch-ups. And yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out, and we are here for you. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and keep in touch. Bye bye.